Okay, welcome to this presentation of Master of Teaching Secondary. I am Dr. Gretchen Gum, and I am currently the course coordinator for this course in Melbourne. So today I'm going to present you this course from 3 different areas, which include how we're going to admit, what is the requirement for admission, and what is the course content, and what could we really learn out of this course. So what is the course outcome? So there are many different interesting, what I feel, many very much interesting areas you can really learn in this course. And I hope at the end of this presentation, you will really enjoy this presentation and would like to enroll in this one. At the end of this presentation, if we have any spare time, we can look into your questions. If we don't, please don't panic. Please join our one-to-one session later, and I'm pretty sure our friendly staff will be able to help you. So let's go to what we're going to learn from this course. So let's talk about admission requirement. And what you can see here, this is a master's course. It's a Master of Teaching Secondary. And in this course, it's a 2 years full-time or part-time equivalent course. I have seen many students by using 18-month accelerated mode. So you can only need to do 18 months of studying, and then you can also obtain this course, Master of Teaching. So you'll complete this course in 18 months if you like. This course currently are offered in Blacktown, Brisbane, Canberra, Melbourne, and Strathfield. And I am the course coordinator for this course in Melbourne. And at the moment, the average first year fee is $6,680. And remember, this one is a Commonwealth supported course, so you will be able to apply for HECS. And please, if you're interested, please submit your application direct to ACU. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about what would be your entry requirements for this course. So what we can see here is you will need to have a bachelor degree or an equivalent qualification with some relevant information about the teaching area in secondary. For example, if you have one major study in one teaching area, then you will be qualified, or you will meet the entry requirement. And if you have another separate minor study in another secondary teaching area, congratulations, you will also be meeting the entry requirement. I will be talking about teaching area later in today's presentation, so don't panic. What are these? What I'm going to do? Or what is teaching area? Don't panic. I am going to introduce them to you in later presentation. And you will also need to demonstrate you are suitable for teaching. So basically, when you go to classroom, you will be able to feel comfortable and also feel a bit passionate about teaching. So for any of the entry requirement and course details, you're most welcome to visit our website. It's the acu.edu.au/courses/MTS. So there you will be able to find all the detailed information about this course and also about the course entry requirement. And I'm going to introduce you another very exciting course. And this course is related with the Master of Teaching Secondary. This course is a double degree. So when you finish this course, you will be able to not just have the Masters of Teaching Secondary, but you will also be able to have another course degree, that is the graduate certificate in religious education. So why we offer these 2 double degree together? This one will give you not just one opportunity to teach in any of the secondary schools, to be registered as a secondary school teacher. You will also be able to find employment in any of the Catholic schools, basically immediately. The course length is a little bit longer, so it's 2.25, so it's basically 2.25 of the year, full-time or part-time equivalent. But I have also seen many students complete this course within 2 years. So as long as you dedicate and you would like to complete the course, the double degree ASAP, then you can definitely complete that one in 2 years' time. And similar to the last course, this course is also offered in Blacktown, Brisbane, Canberra, Melbourne, and Strathfield. The course fee is a little bit higher, but it's also Commonwealth supported. So you can apply for your HECS completely covered. And please submit your application direct to ACU. And again, if you are interested, please log on to this website, acu.edu.au/courses/MTS for detailed information about full entry requirement and also course details as well. So I'm going to talk in details about what you're going to learn from this course. So in order for you to be qualified to graduate from the Master of Teaching Secondary, you will complete 160 credit points from the unit offerings. I'm going to talk a little bit in this slide, and I'm going to go a little bit further in the later presentation. So what you can see here, 160 credit points, how are we going to, what do we need to learn from these so we can satisfy the 100 credit points? So what you can see here, we have 50 credit points. They are from the education studies. We have also 40 credit points from curriculum studies. So what are these? In the curriculum studies, that's what I'm coming back to what we have introduced you about the admission requirement is you will need to complete 2 curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment units. So we call them CPA units or curriculum studies units. So you will need to be able to complete 2 units or 20 credit points associated with your teaching area. Or if you only have 1 teaching area, then you need to complete 4 related units or 40 credit points in the same teaching subject or teaching area. Then when we talk about what is the specified units, so in this one, you will only focus on the secondary teaching. So we will introduce you a lot about how we're going to teach mainly for secondary, because secondary is very different. It's quite large. It covers from middle school up to senior high. So when we look at middle schools, it's basically from year 7 to year 10 students, and senior high, that could include year 11 and year 12 students. So again, when we come to our teaching subject or your teaching areas, for example, if you are a science teacher, but if your bachelor's degree is a science degree, and you would like to become a science teacher, and in this way, it's very easy for you to go and try to see which science area you can teach in senior high. For example, if you are a biology scientist, then you will be able to go further studying into as biology as your main teaching subject area. So you will be able to teach senior high from year 11 to year 12 biology. But then you can also become a science teacher in junior high or middle school. So you can teach between year 7 to year 10 about general science. So there are a lot of detailed information with that. And if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask us. We'll be very happy to help you. And then in the later in the course, you can do 10 credit points from different electives. Say, for example, as ACU, a Catholic university, we offer quite a large cohort of units can help you to understand Catholic religious information or any kinds of religious education units. So there are many different electives for you to choose, and you can do 1 elective from any of these listed electives. And of course, you have to go to schools. You will need to do 20 credit points from professional experience units. So you will go to schools to conduct, for each of those units, there are 20 days at school. So that would be a very exciting time and moments for you to really experience how teaching feels like in secondary school. We will assign you to all sorts of different secondary schools. For example, we are trying to help you do your placement in middle school or senior high school, or sometimes in vet situation as well. So that's what you can learn all sorts of different experience by really going to the classroom and have interactions with your students, parents, teachers, principals, the whole community. So don't feel you will be not ready when you are going to graduate from this course and then go to your teaching. So please feel, if you do have any questions about placements units or professional experience units, please make sure you ask. And the last one, you will need to complete the literacy and numeracy diagnostic and also literacy and numeracy test before you be eligible for your course completion. So that is the Master of Teaching Secondary. And then let's go to the Masters of Teaching Secondary and the Graduate Certificate in Religious Education. So for this double degree, it's a little bit similar to the Master of Teaching Secondary, but also a little bit different as well, because you will be able to complete 2 degrees. So what you can see here, the major difference is you will complete 190 credit points. And what you can see here, similar to the first course, say for example, you can complete 50 credit points from educational studies, 40 credit points from curriculum studies, which are those CPA units, so curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment units. They are related with your teaching subject areas. And you can do 2 20 credit points teaching subjects that if you have 1 major and 1 minor, or if you only have one major teaching subject area, then you do 40 credit points. Or otherwise, if you choose to have religious education as your teaching area, then you can do 20 credit points for 1 teaching subject area, and then you do the rest, the 20 credit points, from any of the electives. And again, the difference between these 2 courses is you will need to complete the graduate certificate in religious education, which means you will need to complete 40 credit points in this degree. So what are they? So you will need to complete 20 credit points from religious education units, and also 20 credit points from the theology units as well. And the rest will be pretty much similar to the previous course. So you will complete 40 credit points from the secondary specified units, and also 20 credit points from the professional experience units. And again, you will need to complete the literacy and numeracy diagnostic and the literacy and the numeracy test in order for course completion. So now let's go to talk more detail about our course. And I believe this is some area I would like to introduce you a little bit further. So you will have a bit of really exciting or a bit of interesting insight into this course. So this course, let's talk about the education study unit. So what are these? So education study units will cover, we have 5 different units here. Say, for example, let's look at the first one. This one is about development and learning. So you might know for the secondary schools, we have students actually learning maybe just covering teenager stage. So when they go to year 7, most of the students will be 12, 13 years old. So then as a teacher, we need to understand their development, the domains of development. For example, if you are seeing some students having, when we're saying the teenagers, what is the difference between preteen, teenagers, and the adult? Then this unit will giving you the opportunity to understand the adolescents' cognitive development, social emotional development, language development, etc. So they will show you a lot of different development domains, and you will need to understand the theories, the backgrounds, all this information about what is a adolescent, what could be the development issue in their area. For example, they might incur a huge physical growth, and that could be a very main topic of being a secondary school teachers in this unit. So you will need to understand that could cause a lot of different confusions for students, but how we as a teacher going to help them understand them and help them to do learning. And in our second unit, we covered effective teaching and professional practice. So in this unit, we will give you some skills and knowledges of how you're going to develop your teaching. For example, we will show you how to develop a lesson plan. So that is also a quite exciting bit. So you will need to understand when you go into the classroom, you are fully prepared with a lot of information you would like to deliver to your students. So you will be able to understand what is Australian curriculum, what is Victorian curriculum, and how you're going to design your unit or your lesson plans or unit work based on this understanding of the curriculum. And also at your target students as well. So who are your target students? How are you going to deliver those learning content to your students? And this unit will get you fully prepared. And of course, as a secondary school teacher, you will need to be able to do classroom management because every student can be different, every class can be different. So we're offering you the unit or the skills and knowledges about fostering positive behavior. So how are we going to engage our students in their learning? And in all our classroom, you will find we have what I should say, it's more like a socially and culturally mixed environment or learning context for our students. So we are going to introduce you some areas about how we're going to embrace the social and cultural context of education. How, as a secondary school teacher, we are going to learn about social and cultural context. So we understand our students' background. We understand how we're going to engage with our students' background, such as their parents, such as a community, such as a culture, such as their social backgrounds, everything. And lastly, we are introducing you the unit for catering for diversity in inclusive classroom. So what is this? That means when we go to the classroom, you might see some students with special needs. For example, students with disabilities, students are gifted and talented, or if you are lucky, you can go to teach a remote or rural places, and they also have some huge percentage of the indigenous population. So you might be able to teach indigenous children, or if you also lucky, you will be able to teach in for example, for me, I taught in the some other refugee classroom as well. So there are all sorts of different diversities in our classroom, and please don't feel you are actually being left. We will provide you with skills and knowledge and practice when we're going to help you to teach in the diversity in the inclusive classroom. So we also have some sample specialist teaching areas for you as well. So now we're talking about what are your teaching areas. Some of you might be thinking, I want to be an English classroom teacher. I want to be a math teacher. I want to be a physical education teacher, health and PE teacher. I want to be a religious education teacher. I want to be a health history teacher, music teacher, etc. So this one will be related with your bachelor degree. So when we look into your bachelor degree, we will need to see whether you have completed a degree, your bachelor degree actually are related with this curriculum area. For example, I have seen a lot of students completed a Bachelor of Arts. And Bachelor of Arts, the students actually complete a, for example, English literature, about English writing, the journalism, and all that kinds of area. Then these units can be counted for you to choose English as your teaching area. So in order for you to have a major in all these areas, order for you to have a major in these teaching subjects areas, you need to complete 6 units or 60 credit points in your bachelor degree. But don't panic. If you complete 40 credit points in your bachelor degree, you will be eligible for a minor or secondary teaching area in your specialized teaching areas. So say, for example, you normally will have 2 teaching areas. You can be an English teacher, and at the same time, you can also be for example, ICT and technologies. This is a little bit weird combination, but I've seen a lot of English teacher with history. So this is a very common combined teaching areas for one teacher. So when you're going to seek for employment, then you will tell your principals or your future employer saying, my teaching areas will be English and also history. So you can teach English and history while you are teaching in secondary. So these are all sorts of different teaching areas. And because of the time, I will not be able to go through them one by one with you. However, if you feel you are eligible for any of these, could be your teaching area, please make sure you contact us. And when we giving you offer, if you apply to us and we offer you the position as a studying this course, then please make sure that your teaching areas are those ones you would like to study. For example, if you are a mathematics teacher, you want to be a mathematics teacher, and you feel like your bachelor degree actually cover at least 4 to 6 units you have learned in your bachelor degree, then you want to be a mathematics teacher. And if by any chance you saw your offer actually listing science, then you need to double check, or you wanted to make sure that is your teaching area you want you to do. And there are all sorts of different teaching areas, so make sure you're going through them and have a browse through them. And then you will find a lot of interesting information or exciting information. You will find if you want to become economics or humanities, teacher, or physics, or I have seen some of my students choose the earth and environment science studies as well. So there are many different teaching areas for you to choose, and trying to make sure that is your teaching area, and also make sure you will have, this is the area you have passion towards. So good luck with that. And again, if you do have any questions, please make sure you contact us. And this is a very simple of the sample map here. So what you can see here, this is the first year study map, the course map. Please make sure you follow this map, because then that will help you to go through this map, to go through this course with no problem, because some of the units will be a prerequisites for the others. For example, you will need to complete the first teaching subject, or the second teaching subject. You need to complete the first CPA unit, so curriculum pedagogy and assessment 1 first, before you can do the second one. Please make sure you complete in order, because the first CPA unit will be the prerequisite for the second CPA unit. But all this information are presented or located on our website. Please make sure you go through them if you are interested. And this is the second year course map. And what you can see here, we also have some other units actually offered in winter as well. Say, for example, the transition to profession. And in the winter units, these units will be offered in a intensive teaching style. So you will need to attend maybe 5 days and then complete your directed and self-directed studying. So what you can get out of this course? So number one, again, we'll say you will have 60 days of practitioner experience by different school or community-based placements. And you will complete the graduate certificate in religious education. If you would like to do that, then you will be able to get accreditation to teach religious education in Catholic schools. And you can you are eligible for teacher registered as a secondary school teacher with VIT. So you can teach in government, independent, Catholic, or any other faith-based schools. And lastly, if you are really excited to become for example, to continue your doctor study, this course will also provide you as a pathway for you to go and enroll into, for example, your PhD if you are interested to do later. So I believe once we complete this course, you will have a lot of basic great ideas of whether you would like to do this course or not. But again, because we have only maybe 2 or 3 minutes left, and I would like to look into one question. But if you are interested in this course and would like to have any other more questions, please feel free to join the one-to-one session later. And our staff, I'm pretty sure our staff will be able to help you. So let's look into one question. Great, so we have a question here, and that is from, I'm just going to pick one. So we have one question from Laura. And what she was saying is, hi, with the Bachelor of Teaching and Bachelor of Arts Humanities degree, you need to choose 2 subject areas to eligible to teach. That is the arts major and an art minor. Can you major in both the 2 subjects? Because I absolutely love history and English, and I can't choose which one I would put as my major and which one I would choose as my minor. That's the beautiful part of the Masters of Teaching Secondary, because when we're talking about that is your teaching area, we don't talk about that is your major and in your minor. So of course, when you are doing your major or your minor or your teaching areas, you only need to do 2 CPA units in related to, for example, your history, where you will need to do 2 history CPA units, and your English will be you will need to do 2 CPA units related with your English. So that will not stop you from, telling your principals later, for example, English maybe is my major, or history is my minor, etc. So you come to the end, you can tell your principal, English and also history are both of my teaching subjects. And then I hope they can actually answer these questions. So when we're talking about the Masters of Teaching, we do not have a huge emphasis on the major or minor. And sometimes we have one particular information, say, for example, you have one major. If you would like to emphasize that is your only teaching subject area, then you will say that is absolutely your one major. But if you have 2, and then you can say they are both of my teaching subjects. I hope I answer your questions well. That concludes my presentation for today. And if you have any questions, please make sure you join our one-to-one session later in today's open day activities. Thank you very much. And I hope I can see you someday in Melbourne. And please have a great day and stay well. Thank you. Bye-bye.